Hello, I'm Aria Wells, and I'm so glad you're here. Before we dive in, I want you to take a slow, deep breath. Not because we're about to run a race, but because we're about to talk about starting. And that's where most journeys are won or lost. The truth is, the scariest part of any dream isn't the middle or the ending. It's the beginning. It's standing at the edge, staring into the unknown, and realizing that nothing will change in your life unless you take that first step. And yet so many of us hesitate. We wait for the right time. We tell ourselves we need to be more prepared, more confident, more skilled. We imagine that somewhere in the future is a perfect version of ourselves, and that person will begin. But here's the secret. That person doesn't exist until you begin. The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. Let's talk about why beginnings feel so heavy. Psychologists call it analysis paralysis, the state where too many choices or too much information freezes us. We think if we can predict every possible outcome, we can avoid failure. But in truth, we're trying to avoid discomfort. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Meaning, you can't grow without risking imperfection. Neuroscience also tells us that our brains are wired for safety. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, lights up when we face something unfamiliar. It interprets newness as danger, even if the change is something we want. That's why starting feels unnatural. It's literally our biology urging us to stay where we are. But here's the empowering part. We're not prisoners of our wiring. We can override it, and that's where courage, not motivation, comes in. You don't need to feel motivated to begin. This surprises people because we live in a culture obsessed with feeling ready. But readiness is a myth. In Buddhist teaching, the path begins where you are, not where you wish you were. In Taoism, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, not a perfect one. Even in modern behavioral science, the action precedes motivation model is proven over and over. We think action comes from inspiration, but often inspiration is born from action. So if you're waiting for a lightning bolt of motivation, you might be waiting forever. But if you take even one imperfect step today, momentum will carry you further than waiting ever could. One of the biggest mistakes we make is imagining beginnings have to be grand. We think of launching businesses, running marathons, writing books, and the scale paralyzes us. But all transformation is built on small, consistent moves. Leonardo da Vinci didn't paint the Mona Lisa in a day. Marie Curie didn't discover radium in a single experiment. Your favorite musician didn't write their best song the first time they picked up an instrument. Science calls this the compound effect. Tiny actions repeated over time create massive change. Philosophy calls it habit as destiny. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." When you embrace small starts, you stop asking, "Can I?" and start proving, "I can." Many people don't begin because they fear failure. But failure is temporary. Regret can be permanent. Bronnie Ware, a palliative care nurse who spent years with people at the end of their lives, wrote about the top regrets of the dying. The number one regret? I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Notice, it wasn't, I wish I'd succeeded more. It was, I wish I'd tried. Regret grows from the seeds of inaction. Every day you delay your beginning, you water that seed. Letting go of the perfect plan. The Stoics had a concept called amor fati, love of fate. It means embracing what comes, including the unexpected turns and detours. When you begin a journey, you will be tempted to control every detail. But the truth is, most of the beauty will come from the parts you didn't plan. Think of explorers. Magellan didn't know the exact shape of the world when he set sail. Think of inventors. Many discoveries, like penicillin, were accidents. If you wait until every variable is known, you'll never move. Beginnings require flexibility, not certainty. Faith in the unseen. This is where philosophy meets spirituality. Faith isn't just a religious idea, it's a human one. It's the willingness to act without proof, to trust the process when the outcome isn't guaranteed. In Christian scripture, there's the reminder, we walk by faith, not by sight. In Sufi poetry, Rumi wrote, as you start to walk on the way appears. Starting without seeing the whole map isn't reckless, it's life. No one sees the entire path before they take it. The energy of beginning. There's a unique energy that only exists at the start of something new. It's raw, unpolished, and electric. It's the moment before the story is written, and that means anything is possible. You'll never get that energy back in the same way once you've moved far along the path. Cherish it. Let it fuel you. Practical steps to begin. 1. Blitz your why. If you don't know why you're starting, you'll quit when it gets hard. Your why is your anchor. 2. Lower the bar for day 1. Make your first step so small you can't fail. Write 1 sentence. Walk 5 minutes. Make 1 call. 3. Schedule your start. Don't say someday. Give it a date. Commitment grows in a calendar, not in a wish. 4. Getting 1 trusted person. Accountability matters, but protect your dream from too many opinions in the early stages. 5. Celebrate tiny wins. Reward the action, not just the result. Stories of beginnings that changed everything. J.K. Rowling began Harry Potter as a single idea on a delayed train. Trevor Winfrey began as a small-town radio host before becoming a media icon. Colonel Sanders began KFC in his 60s after years of rejection. None of them had guarantees. All of them had beginnings. The ripple effect of starting. When you begin, you don't just change your own life, you influence others. Your courage gives someone else permission to be brave. Your story becomes part of someone else's why. The poet Goethe wrote, "Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." So here's my invitation to you. Stop waiting for perfect. Stop rehearsing the life you want. Step into it. Messy, imperfect, now. Because the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. You have more than enough to start, and once you do, you'll discover the truth, that beginnings aren't the scariest part. They're the most powerful. If this reflection was the nudge you needed, tap like, subscribe, and share it forward. And in the comments, tell me what's the journey you're ready to begin today. I'm Aria Wells. Until next time, start bravely, walk steadily, and come back again. There's always more light to share.